But the basic understanding is you have to start with that hero outcome in mind. So to build a really solid curriculum, you go, okay, what's the hero outcome? What's the zero state that they're in? What's the formula to get them from zero to hero? All of the things that they would need. Sort of brainstorm all of those things based on their feedback, based on your own experience, and then subtract. That's the biggest key. I always use the metaphor of going on a road trip. Imagine you're going on a road trip and the map, Google Maps, let's say, takes you on a billion different detours. So what was supposed to be an hour-long trip turns into a 5-hour trip. Are you gonna be super happy about that?
No.
What do you do when Google Maps shows you, hey, there's a faster route. Do you want to take that route? You say, heck yes. Your clients are going to say the same thing. So you want to make sure that your path to get them from zero to hero is the fastest and most efficient path possible. Why? Because what creates a successful course that can scale? Results. Client results. And if your clients aren't getting results efficiently, they're going to give up, they're going to quit, and they're going to say that your course sucks. Nobody wants that. So you have to build your curriculum outline in the most efficient way possible. And how you do that is you do it in a live setting, you iterate on the go, you make tweaks on the...
All right, Sunny, take it easy. All right, that's Sunny Lenarduzzi. She's a multi-million-dollar earning and selling coach online, amongst other things. She helps people, do that. Build their businesses as entrepreneurs. She's helped people get sales. She's got really great courses online. Her YouTube videos are phenomenal. That's just one of them that I'm listening to right there. But she basically helps businesses use YouTube primarily as a way to shore up their lead generation and sales process. She's found a way to use YouTube. To put it in the simplest terms that most people know, is to know, like, and trust you so that they buy from you. That's basically it in a nutshell. And I've been watching her stuff lately because I have this site, blogdealer.com, and it contains beginner marketing courses for very beginner marketing courses for things like YouTube Marketing Hero and Instagram Marketing Hero and Facebook Marketing Hero. But I didn't create the courses. I bought a program that basically lets me white label the courses. And I've looked at them, and I'm currently taking courses, and they're good. This process that Sunny here is talking about is not in that. There's no part of me in the system talking to people, getting to know them, pre-qualifying them, basically. Because this, by the way, this is a video of hers on YouTube, which I'll put the links to in the show notes here. It's called How to Sell an Online Course Before Making It in 2024. Pre-sell. So now I'm looking at that could have a double meaning. How to sell an online course before making it, meaning how can you sell the online course before you've even made the online course, but how to sell an online course before you make it, before making it, right? You know how that saying goes? You know, you've made it big, you made it to the big time. So now, my mission here with blogdealer.com is, one, besides being familiar and knowing that all the courses that are on there are good, one of the things that I have to do, and this is one of the things I'm gonna try out with that website. It's is hone in on a niche, my target market, which are going to be, part of it. This is not very laser focused yet, but beginning internet marketer, so beginner internet marketer. So, and that's very vague, of course, right? But something along that line of, internet marketers who are at the beginning phase, beginning stage of their internet marketing careers, because most of the courses are beginner, intermediate level. So these are people who want to get started doing that. And the other thing too, though, is the way that the site is set up is that I can add and remove courses from that site as I wish. So, eventually there's 250 of them on that site. Eventually I might just take them all out and replace them with courses that I create on my own. Right now I'm creating one. I'm using the Fletcher method, and I'm building a course through that. It's growth. Let me look at my laptop. GrowthWorks. I've actually paid for a couple of different programs lately, just to see what they are. Yeah, this is GrowthWorks, app.growthworks.io, and it's a really great program. I like the way that it's structured. Oh, let me save these changes here and go back. But basically, he's got this great thing here. It's got a product roadmap that has 9 modules for me to set up. And before that, there was a campaign planner. Then there's a product roadmap and then a design studio. I'm really excited about that. And I know that it sounds like I'm very unfocused, but it is probably because I am. And when I even said that before I said what I'm going to say, which is going to probably inspire even more thoughts in you that I'm unfocused, is that not only am I right now looking at Sonny Lenarduzzi's videos, but I also found another online marketer, another young lady who seems to be really good. I think her name is Alex Catoni, Cattoni. Interestingly enough, they're both. It seems like those are. I think they're both married, so that their husbands are Italian. They're Italians. Also, just mind-blowingly excellent information that I've been hearing from her as well. So the thing is that not only am I doing that, so I got Alex Catani, Sonny Lenarduzzi. I purchased this Fletcher method. On top of that, I just started my private podcast with Hero.fm. You're listening to this right now on one of the platforms that is distributed from the main platform that I pay for also, which is Spreaker. And of course, I also have like 20 websites with GoDaddy. Oh man. But the thing that I don't feel overwhelmed or hopeless or anything like that, which I'm sure that I would be forgiven if I did. Granted, all of the things that I just said that I'm into and I'm paying for, I'm actually very hopeful because of the amazing information that these various coaches are imparting online. And it's not just them. I mean, I've been looking at some really great stuff. There's a guy, Alex Hormozy, who built like another $150 million business. And, there's, there's so many other people. I don't remember all of their names right now, but there's been a whole slew of them. I got on the right side of YouTube. and it's been pretty amazing to the things that I'm able to learn. So that's what I'm oh, shiza. I'm making this recording as I'm also just making it known. I'm really a documentarian, and one of the things that I'm doing that I feel like has to be done is, first of all, signal my identification, part of my brand, and then start to laser focus that. So part of this, and this is not exactly what I'm learning right now from these coaches, but it's in part. But what I have to do is start to signal a certain identity, sort of like specialization, right? I've been very generalized for a long time, even more than that, scattered, right? And I'm in this, I'm in that, I'm doing that. It's just all over the place. And meanwhile, I can still, and am still going to do all those things. I'm still going to be practicing martial arts, still going to be playing music, still going to be reading all kinds of books in physics as well as metaphysics, and the natural sciences as well as supernatural. All of that stuff all over the place. I'll still be playing with my runes, my Viking runes. Somebody said for me, they're not Viking runes, blah blah blah. All of that, but as far as the business goes, online, I have to really niche down and also do that. A lot of the advice that I look at, thankfully, because I wasn't going to change this part that much, is to do something that, of course, that you're passionate about. And I found that, because I've been caused to think about it more, that I'm really like a documentary producer. Not a documentary filmmaker per se, although I do make some videos here and there documenting things. But I'm also more like a journalist. And I even earlier today put out a gang member feel. I even put out earlier on Instagram, my Instagram at Unequilibrium. I put up an image of a screen grab that I made of the definition from the dictionary, from Merriam-Webster's dictionary, of the definition of a journalist, which says definition 1A, a person engaged in journalism, especially a writer or editor for a news medium. And as you may know, and if not, will find out that I have a website called hakeym.com, which is the site for HAKEYM News. I haven't gotten into yet any of the other kind of domain signifiers yet. I haven't done like the .biz. I have 4 different hypnoathletic sites. I have .net, .info, and .org, as well as hypnoathletics.com. But I haven't done the .io or the .ai or that stuff yet, which I'm sure there's isn't there like a .news maybe, or I know there's a .tv. I haven't done that yet. I have enough online assets. But the second definition, which I definitely qualify for a writer or editor for a news medium, because I write and edit and I also read and present. So not only journalist, because I do the research and stuff like that, but I'm also a reporter, because I report the news by reading it as an extension of World Reading Club. But then definition 1B says a writer who aims at a mass audience. And what's interesting about that is that it gave me a really good, it actually gave me insight into myself looking at the definition. Because I've written and published several books, and even though some of them are under a certain category, like I have these 4 books under the under the category Department of Defense USA. I got 3 books about ghost hunting, one about advanced ghost hunting techniques in my, for ghost hunters in Miami. I got exorcising demons in the Hampton Roads, and I have house healing for ghost hunters in Virginia Beach. So those are all similar. And then one closely related but not really paranormal subject, I got The Mind's Labyrinth, which is about alien abduction memories. Then a couple business books, the Set Dresser's Handbook is one, kind of like a little insight into the work I've done in film and TV and the art department. Then there's private money lending for real estate investors, and then there's the automated income guide for beginning online marketers. There's also pretty in-depth books. But again, the point is just letting you know that within my chaos is more chaos. Within my non-specification is even more non-specified. But when I look, sometimes I can see how I can twist certain definitions through confirmation bias to fit my narrative, right? And I looked at the definition of journalist, and the second definition, 1B, a writer who aims at a mass audience. Of course, what writer would not want to get to a mass audience? And of course, now, if we back up and we look at really purely from a marketing and sales perspective, as these online coaches that I mentioned that you just heard from Sunny Lenarduzzi, I always thought, I heard her pronounce it once, I think she said Lenarduzzi, but to me, I thought that Italian would be Lenarduzzi. The 2 Z's together make the Duzzi sound, Lenarduzzi. But I don't know. But she would probably advise also as an author to niche down and market to my ideal reader. And that's one of the reasons why I did the Department of Defense books. Every once in a while I get a little delusional and I start thinking that I want to be Iron Man. And Iron Man had a government contract with the Department of Defense. So I was like, maybe if I write some books with some ideas about some possible super soldier enhancements. One of them was it's called hyperlethal combat, about prosthetics, using them for more than just replacing lost limbs and that, but basically like bionic additions and that kind of stuff, cyborgs, and controlling them with BCIs, the brain computer interfaces. And then another one's called Hypnotic Armor. Some of you may or may not know I have a degree in clinical hypnosis from the Hypnosis Motivation Institute, so it's something that really is underlying a lot of stuff that I do ever since I went there. The school has had a major influence on my life. It was very pivotal for me. I learned a lot about myself, and I'm glad that that I did that. I got that education because it was it's an amazing experience at that organization, that school, the Hypnosis Motivation Institute. And so that's about basically making it so that soldiers, to put it as plainly as possible, don't mind going into combat and being killer, making the most efficient killers through using hypnotic means to basically separate them from a certain part of themselves, decompartmentalization, or a certain type of compartmentalization, that is. And then another one, and I don't know why was there a point that I was going on about these books here? Oh, specialization. Right, so then there's hyperlethal combat, there's hypnotic armor, there's metaphysical, there's enhanced warriors, about using metaphysical weapons for, future warfare. And, it talks about things that we've known about from the past, like remote viewing, stuff like that. And then the fourth one is just the hidden hand, spying into the espionage world. And it's about espionage. It's really a history book. I just did some research and looked into the history of espionage here, the Cold War, that kind of stuff like that. And so, you would niche down like I know certain authors, right? Like I think John Grisham is known as the street lawyer, or at least one of his books is known as a street lawyer, something like that. Let me take a look at as I Google. Author John Grisham. Let's see what books come up here. John Grisham, The Firm. Yeah, so already The Firm is. I'm pretty sure that just reminds me of a name of like a law firm, right? John Grisham, The Client, The Innocent Man. Yeah, so it looks like he's definitely the one who wrote that book. I know I saw the cover some time ago called Street Lawyer. Or if it's not him, then that's the point. Yeah. All of these books. There's one of them that is called The Rainmaker, has a gavel on it. So he's the guy who does the lawyer books. Time to Kill. Yep, there it goes. John Grisham, the street lawyer. Found it. So I mean, he's definitely niched down people who like I don't know what you would call that, legal drama, law drama, litigate. I don't know. Right? Law mystery, legal mystery. I don't know what that is. I'm sure that there's a bio about him on here. Let's see. He's from Mississippi. He was a former state Mississippi representative. I had no idea about that. John Ray Grisham Jr., born February 8th, 1955, is an American novelist, lawyer, and former member of the Mississippi House of Representatives, known for his best-selling legal thrillers. Okay, that's what you call them, legal thrillers. There you go. According to the American Academy of Achievement, Grisham has written 37 consecutive #1 fiction bestsellers, and his books have sold 300 million copies worldwide. Along with Tom Clancy and J.K. Rowling, Grisham is one of only 3 Anglophone authors who have sold 2 million copies on the first printing. Good Lord. Now, although I'm able to read that word, I'm not familiar with the term Anglophone. I know I'm pretty sure I've heard it before, but I'm not sure what that means. Anglo as in English. Oh, phone, voice, English voice, right? Isn't phone sound? So English sound. Hold on, what am I doing? I got the Googles. Anglophone definition. English speaking. There you go. An English speaking person. Okay. There you go. See, that's the lovely thing about being a nerd and studying linguistics. There's a great book that I picked up when I was doing some pre-medical classes out of community colleges. I wanted to go to medical school to be a psychiatrist, and it was medical terminology. Really great book. I think one of the best investments I've ever made, because it broke apart the English language and showed me how many words in medical terminology are made of Greek and Latin. And so the words in Greek and Latin, and it broke them down, and it just showed me how many words in English are. English can't even be considered a language by itself. It's composed of so many other languages. There's so much French and Latin and German and Greek, and it really is made of so many other languages. So off the topic again, but the point is, if I'm making any point at all, is that I need to start to specialize, and this recording is serving as a marker to give myself some more accountability, to stick to a timeline, to really start getting that done with the specialization and honing in. And I do have to say, now that I'm back on it, looking at John Grisham's books and seeing that he's labeled as his books are labeled as legal thrillers, and that he's one of only 3 English-speaking authors to sell 2 million copies on the first printing of a book, it actually reinforces what Sonny Lenarduzzi is saying about, like, everything that she's teaching, everything that I've seen on dozens of videos so far, that she teaches the same thing. She drills it over and over again, is how when you really focus on, and I'll put it this way, even though this because this captures a lot of it, the essence of it. But when you focus on what the algorithms, what search engines would consider to be a long tail keyword, right, as and use that as describing your ideal customer, right, the person that you're serving, the person that you're bringing from zero to hero, as she says, right? If I were to focus on something very specific, like John Grisham, for example, is serving the market. I don't know what his demographic, I'm just making these up, right? But he writes books for working moms who are 27 to 35, who either have some kind of familiarity with or work in the legal field or adjacent, or just in general are fans of legal thrillers, right? But it would be something like that, like a long tail, like it would be a specific group of people who like a specific thing. And in the case of selling, like, my courses and things like that, I would have to find out who my courses remedy their pain points. Like, how can that help them? How can them taking the course Instagram Marketing Hero help that person? Like, what are they going to get out of that? And I'm starting to realize too that it's very vanilla, it's very plain, now, like I said, they're good courses. I've looked through them and I've learned things from them, and they're actually what led me on the path to finding people like Lenarduzzi and others, because I'm always every once in a while I get back into looking at the marketers and things like that.
To challenge a boxing.
So, and then that, kind of leads me down the rabbit hole. The first person actually who I was looking at,
down by the owner with a single
what the hell?
punch and kicked hard in the head.
My iPhone is connected directly to my Bluetooth, and it just keeps on cutting on. But why,
he brought
though?
It all on himself.
Why?
Just look at.
Everyone was pissed when this kid pulled them.
Okay. So, I'm gonna have to look at this. Meet the YouTuber who solved shorts. Again, though, okay, I'm getting off the track. It's 30 minutes now here that I've been ranting. Sonny, get me back on track. Just get me back on track, son. Let me listen to Sonny, and I'll get out of here. What do you got to say, Sonny? Come on, let's do it. Come on, give me something.
You're ready to sell it and scale it in an evergreen way. So the best way to do that and build the curriculum outline is not to get fancy. You can simply use Google Docs. We have our clients build their curriculum in Google Docs, or they can use PowerPoint or Keynote to create the bare bones version of their curriculum and to make it really easy to edit it and make it even more impactful before they do pre-record it. Now, the fourth step to pre-selling is you have built a network of potential buyers. Congratulations, you've done so by actually speaking to people who would be your ideal clients and doing the research and taking the time to truly listen to them. And oftentimes when our clients go through this process, those people they speak to go, hey, are you building something that will actually help me with this? Okay, I want to know when it comes out. So you have this list of buyers at your fingertips to pre-sell the program to. You're not having to go out and build this huge network or be on every social media platform. You actually have your list of buyers at your fingertips. And I often like to refer back to the math because people think you need this massive audience to have a successful course. You absolutely do not. If you focus on the math, the average conversion rate when it comes to building an online program like this is around 20%. That's sort of industry average. It can be a lot higher, it can be a lot lower, depending on how you convert leads into paying clients. If you look at the math, let's say you want 5 people inside of your program, you're charging each of them $1,000. It would be $5,000 then for the first round of your program in terms of the revenue you generate. If you want 5 clients, the average conversion rate is 20%. That you need to times 5.
All right, so yeah, I mean, she's good. She's good.
By 5, so times the number of clients you want by 5, and that's going to tell you how many leads and conversations you need to have to convert 5 clients. So
something she reminded me of just now when she was talking about you have your leads at your fingertips. You don't need to go on all this social media and all this other stuff like that. She really, talks about this thing called the flywheel, right? And that if you, so back again, merging this with the street lawyer John Grisham legal thrillers, right? That when you really niche down and you speak to a very specific demographic, right? And you speak to your very specific ideal customer, ideal client, and you keep doing that over and over again, it eventually starts to influence how your content is presented through, because Google owns YouTube, and YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world, basically. And that by that niching down, it gets all eyes on you, just like John Grisham has all eyes on him for legal thrillers. J.K. Rowling, all eyes on her for, what was it? Is it Harry Potter's that she did? But basically, it's you just get known for that one thing, and everybody who you very specifically speak to about that one thing, they're going to go there, and then you not only keep doing that, but then you also make sure you give an offer, lead magnets where you can get their email and get them on an email list and so on and so forth. So really good stuff, things that I've heard before, but I haven't implemented either at all or was stubborn and just wanted to do it my own way. This binaural beat is fading out, so I'm going to do that too, because that's one of the reasons why I play those in the background now. Not only because they're soothing, but because they help me with a time limit, and I don't need to be ranting that long about this. I'll come back and rant. All right, I'll rant later with you.
The way you want to live your life.